A very good afternoon to all. Thank you for being here today for yet another interesting discussion at CA Connect. Our expert for today is CA Venugopal Gella, who I think is safe to say that knows a correct blend of technology into accounting to make life easier for all the businessmen. Venu sir is a practicing chartered accountant and has authored various books on GST. He is a tally evangelist and is a speaker at various forums for training. We are glad that we are doing this session with Venu sir, who's come up with something very new. Coming to our topic, our today's discussion is basically built on to help practicing chartered accountants using tally to complete audit with accuracy and in less than 90% of the time. It's claimed to say that with the help of this additional tool, it could be very useful. So let us dive in and see what the software has to offer. Over to you, Venu sir.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Let me share my screen. All right. Very good afternoon, everyone. And firstly, one sincere apologies. This session got rescheduled, which for some personal reasons I couldn't do it. I'm sure, in fact, I'm definitely sure that everyone wants to have better and better quality in the audits. Especially we chartered accountants have been going through various challenges, maybe from the regulators or different accounting standards and audit standards coming time to time, which are actually making these challenges increasing day by day. So here, today I'm going to demonstrate a tool. Basically, this is an add-on to the tally, which will actually help us as a practicing chartered accountants to save a lot of times, be it internal audit, stat audit, tax audit, or GST audits. One thing which is common in all this is audit. And we chartered accountants audit is closely associated, right? So I'm going to today look at what are the problems that we are facing and how the tool which I'm going to demonstrate will going to simplify our things. If I have to begin with the problem statements, we have multiple problems that we are dealing with. Firstly, the business complexities. We all know today, after the digitization, the global world, everyone wants to have a digital presence. So there would be a connect through Amazon, Flipkart, or everything. Either a trader makes some sales. Now that would explode the volume. Or they're venturing into multiple things. Either they increase the business by creating franchises or they take up multiple activities. And with the wide variety of the business that's happening, their compliances that requires maybe from the GST or maybe the local other trade laws also goes up. When we are reporting today, in fact, we are talking about the social reporting standards. Like I'm not touching upon that. So today, the reporting requirements is having more compliances. It is expected that the bankers are looking at the financial statements, so the bankers need to be satisfied. In fact, more importantly, if somewhere something goes wrong in any organization, the first thing that comes up is like, who is the auditor? So that means there is so much of trust that has been put upon to the chartered accountants to ensure that the financials which have been signed, submitted have, though we say true and fair, but in their view, they have to be at a true and correct. And what we adopt, the challenge is the sampling. Like we do not have either the skill set or the timelines or the bandwidth to do 100% verification of the transaction. Because over the so many employees in the organization who are doing those transactions over last 1 year, why you do the audit, the time period within which cannot make us to do 100% verification. The second challenge is the attrition in the team, which is very common. So the team comes, goes. With the attrition, we definitely have little more challenge as to the people who are doing the audit this year is not of the same thing which is the last year. So that's the second challenge that we have. Next, sometimes the data comes in the last minute. Some of the compliances in India are better driven because there is a due date. If there is no due date, then I don't think the book closure or the accounting cannot also happen. Now, most of the time you would have noticed that if the due date from September got extended to say December, even the data, the compliances, data sharing, all those gets delayed. Lastly, which is more important, is the information exchange. We are submitting GST returns month over month. Income tax returns are filed. Bank is submitting the data to the income tax portal. Today we know AS and TAS is giving more information. In fact, that information is sufficient to finalize someone's the value of the tax assessments and liabilities. Having said that, so much information is out there, it also makes a very important responsibility. Before we finalize, we take cognizance of all the information. Say a loan has been taken in a bank and the charge is created. It could so happen in a couple of cases which I've noticed that the term loan is disbursed to the vendor and the accountant did not create neither the loan or not the asset purchase. Or could be a situation where the corporate has raised the share capital, the capital has been did not update to the ROC, and the capitalization happened by way of bonus issue or capitalizing the profits that is there. Unless the account entries are posted into the books of a tally, we don't know. And this is just no additional cash coming in, so no reconciliation trace, but the portal in ROC is saying something, on the books of accounts are showing something. So I'm just beginning to say something, but the compliances with the FEMA or as and when it goes up, it will be having multiple challenges. So as an auditor, we also have the challenge to ensure these values that are getting reported to all the agencies are correct and accurate. Lastly, on top of it, preparation of financial statements. Financial statements undergo multiple iterations. Today, at least, the usage of the Excel has increased. The people are doing a better way of presenting and reporting and in a faster way. But however, the newer requirements came in where you do not present the numbers in absolute numbers, maybe hundreds, millions, and thousands. And with the change in what the wish of the client, that has to be changed. And the detailed reconciliation and reporting. Sometimes it may take 2-3 days only in preparing the financial statements. If I have to say, these are the various challenges that we are going through. So what is the solution? Now, so one of the tool which I am going to demonstrate today is called Tally on Wheels, where it's a product which will digitize the whole process of the audit. It's a cloud-based solution which uses the advanced analytics, and you will be getting these reports in real time. Like as Komal mentioned, that this reduces the audit process cycle, audit preparation cycle. So since this is reducing the audit preparation cycle, it is very much needed that we use some tools. What does this tool do? There are many features, but as the time goes, let's see. There are 3 key features which I want to highlight and show today. Is automating scrutiny of your ledger. That means we are talking about 100% scrutiny of the ledgers. Next, preparing your financial statements. Your Schedule 3 financial statements are prepared in a timely manner. The financial statements are prepared. So the workings for Schedule 3. And more importantly, a detailed annexure for you to get a glimpse of what is there in the books of accounts, right? So there are multiple other tools and reports that we are going to present, which is the cost analysis, having a consolidation at the group level, entity level, all those things. What I'll do is I will, instead of going through what are all the features that are there, I'll first quickly jump over the tool, how we use that, and I'll come back to the presentation later at an appropriate time. Yeah. So let me go and open the Tally. Here is my Tally Prime. And so this is the tool which I'm going to demonstrate today. This is what we are seeing. So you can create a login. So Here is Tally on Wheels. So I've already created a login. So once you log in, you have all these features. I'll show how we will use these features one by one. Let me start with first opening an entity, a company in the Tally. In a normal way, we know we store all the data of the Tally in different folders. Like each entity will have a different folders, and you might have the data year-wise, in the year-wise various things that you have. So I am taking one demo Tally, and there are 3 companies here. Let me open this. I'm copying the path. And I'm sure now with the Tally Prime, there are multiple ways of opening the data. You can directly select from the drive, like you can actually do the way we are doing it. I'm not sure how many of you are using it. This is one of the best feature, which otherwise all the times in the earlier thing, we go copy this, we come here, specify path, and we paste it. And the ERP9, the copy paste was Alt Control C and Control V. Alt Control V. Now we can directly do Control C and Control V. So I can open this, and there are multiple entities. So I have 2 data of Tally ERP9, Tally Prime, and 1 which is of ERP9. So I have R9 data also, ERP9 data also, and the Prime data. This works both. And migration from ERP9 to Prime is as simple. You just say migrate, and boom, so the data gets migrated. There are very good features of the Tally Prime. So I think the order of the day is we upgrade and we migrate to the Tally Prime, use the newer features of the Tally Prime. So here is the data which I am migrating from ERP9 to Tally Prime. So we will, as the time codes, I will be using multiple data to do the demo. This has the data for the last financial year, A21 to M22. So I'm taking the data from the last financial year. In order to use the application which I'm showing, there are 2 things that you need to do. First, you need to enable in your settings, which you can see, your connectivity. You should always enable your ODBC. The ODBC enabling will assist to ensure the external applications that can connect. For example, in Prime, we have this feature of generating e-invoice, right? For you to generate an e-invoice, you should have an ability to connect the data of the Tally to the external world, or allow an external world to get the data of the Tally. This ODBC facility enables you to seamlessly interact. In fact, in the programming world, we call this as API, where the applications programmatically interchange data from an application to other application. So once you enable this, then you are allowing someone to work on it. In fact, some of you might be using these tools to post the data from an application to Tally directly, or you may use Excel to upload. Today, everyone have actually started leveraging the technology. In fact, if we don't leverage, I think we should consider ourselves that we are getting outdated. If we have to be updated, we got to always keep our eyes and ears open. What are the newer technologies that are available? And I'm sure we all love Tally. As an accountant or a chartered accountant, for us, accounting and Tally is synonym. It's like if you call someone as an accountant, you'll first say that, okay, back of your mind, you will say that, okay, they would know the Tally as an accounting software, right? So here we have all the data that is available. Now, let me go to the application. So the process begins in the application. The process begins by creation of an entity. The first process begins by creation of an entity. What does this creation of entity mean? If you notice again, we have in the way the data is structured, we are creating and storing the data in some folders. In a folder, you have multiple companies that exist. Likewise, even in Tally on Wheels, you create some entity and you load all these companies into that entity. So we will begin by creating one entity. So let me create automate audit. So I've just given automate audits. So this is the entity that I have created. Now in this entity, what are all I can do? I can add my companies. I can analyze the companies that I'm adding. I can prepare my Schedule 3 financials. Especially we just completed GSTR 99C, automation of entire preparation of GSTR 99C. There are various other modules. So today I'll only stick to these important things for our chart accountants. So let us begin by this is the entity which we have created. Let me just add the company. And for the first time user, if it is not there, you will see that button, that download button that just popped up and went off. If we are first time user, it will come up so that it want to connect to Tally automatically. Now look at this. I'm just saying add a Tally company. You can automatically see that a Tally which is open somewhere, the Tally which has got nothing is showing up here. Something which is showing up here. Let me change this. I will say automate audits demo. I've just changed the company name, right? So it will automatically recognize I'm adding a Tally company, and it will automatically recognize which are all the companies that are there, right? So let me add the thing. For which period you want to analyze the data? So for me, my Tally data is for the period 21-22. I will say that for the financial year 21-22, for the financial year 21-22, I want to sync the data. Now, what is happening when we say sync the data? Automatically, as a chart accountant, we have some expectations. That is like, say, expenditure should be 12 months. My payables, receivables should reconcile with the ledgers, or my assets show true value, liabilities true value, all incomes are conservative, expenditure known like expenditure have been booked. All some assumptions that are there, inside which we are doing the audit. So these are the things which I said, the problem statements. These problem statements are now going to be overcome, and it is going to prepare all these reports for us. So let's see what it is doing. It has put in some queries, and it has done some sync, and it is saying that there is some analysis report is there. What it is doing? It is preparing analysis report, tax audit report, and if someone uses cost center, it also prepare cost center report, right? As it is doing parallelly, I would also want to show the other let's see the other thing, which is financial reports. And for the financial year 21-22, we will prepare the financial reports. Like I said, this tool is both. It will help you in multi things. If you are doing internal audit, stat audit, tax audit, whatever, MIS, like these reports can be prepared not just yearly, it can be prepared quarterly, monthly, in different ways. These reports can be prepared. We'll first start with our analysis report. So where was the presentation? So what are we trying to do what are we trying to address? The problem first, which we are looking at, is in my audit, I want to categorize and analyze all the transactions so that my ability to detect, or the audit has multiple risks. Prevention is like when we put a control, either to detect something, prevent something. And audit is never a prevention control. It is always a detection control. You want to detect if something anomalies that are there. It could be intentional, or it could be an unintentional human error, or it could be omission. Now, if the biggest one of the risk in audit itself is an audit risk, The risk that you will not be able to audit the transaction itself is another risk, right? So we will first start with this feature wherein you automating the scrutiny of the ledger. Then we will come to the other two reports. So let me go back to the browser where this has done the audit, and it has given me an audit of what? My assets, expense, income, liability. It has prepared some audit report and various entries. You can actually scroll down. So there are various reports that are there. I will go through one by one. The beauty of this is this, you can download it in an Excel file. You can download, in fact, again, as we professionals, we always want to see any data in Excel. It's easy to understand and dissect. So you have this data wherein it is now saying that, okay, this is the company, and under we have created an entity called automating of the audits, and this is the company. For this period, we are analyzing the data at this point. Again, timestamp is very important, because after you analyze, you give it back to the client saying that, okay, let us correct all these entries in Tally. So let us rerun multiple times. We will rerun so that we get it corrected. So it has verified some voucher, some ledger, some groups, and wherever it is finding anomalies, it has listed out and it is showing up here. It is showing some information which is relating to assets, which are anomalous, some information which is relating to liabilities, which are anomalous, something on your income, again, something on expenditure, then some miscellaneous, some different, some 70 odd reports it is showing, right? Again, the when we are into Excel, we get lost to various things. For example, here it is saying payment to customers. Okay, ideally from the customers we receive the money, but here is a party which is grouped under sundry debtor, but some payment has happened. Could be two reasons or could be three reasons. First obvious reason is error. Second, grouping could have been under creditor but erroneously grouped under debtor. Third, an invoice would have been cancelled, then it is on account of refund. In any of these, it doesn't mean that this is wrong, this needs to be corrected. I'm not saying that this is wrong, this needs to be corrected. This tool is saying that, look, something I'm finding this as anomaly, something I'm finding this as anomaly, go back and check whether it is an accounting error, it's a grouping error, what needs to be done. So we have a date. If the voucher number is there, the voucher number. If it is not there, you can go back and check how much is the entry amount, right? So that is what it is doing. Now, all the way I have jumped from, instead of report 1, directly I jumped to report some 70, 71. How do I go back? Navigation. You have this home button. Where again, one other thing which I always like is the navigation here. So I hit my home, I go back where I am. So this is where I had come from, right? So let's now start understanding what are all the reports that are there, and we will go. We'll start with my assets. So it is saying there are so many customers, these many customers, GST number has not been updated. Today, I'm sure all of you are very much aware that the input tax credit rules under GST is going tighter and tighter. In fact, section 38 of the Act, though which is definitely not notified, once notified, it is going to become a nightmare. But today, what are we doing? We are trying to each customer-wise, each vendor-wise, we are trying to match whether my purchase is there in 2A or 2B or not. How do we do? People use either Excel VLOOKUPs or use some software, sync the data, it does it. But the primary key is GST number. If the GST number is not there, it means that that credit, you will not get the credit itself. Now, here is a scenario. I have my customers. I did not update the GST number. What will happen? Every time, every month, when I generate the GSTR1, either the JSON file or an Excel file from the Tally, all the sales that I have made to these customers would be reported as B2C, which gets reported into table 7 and not table 4, right? So a question that you can ask that, okay, is it true that, okay, is this accounting error or something wrong? Today, it is very much required. So whenever a report comes, again, sometimes the juniors, the people who are doing the audit, they might be wondering, what do I do now? So here there is also a remark where it is saying that, okay, every business entity, if it is GST registered, it should be there. But here it is not there. So it is giving an update or an information. It is just giving an update or an information, right? So you go back and ask whether this is correct or not. So for a junior who has to take an action on it or ask the question to our client, it is saying, what is that I should ask, right? So the next, it says the customer wise, bill wise is not activated in these many ledgers. Now, today again, MSME requirements of my payments within time, or reversal of input tax credit if it is not paid within 180 days. All these that need, when did I purchase, when did I pay? Here, when did I sell, when did I collect? Now, unless a customer has been activated with the bill wise, we will not be able to track this. Good bookkeeping, I would always say every balance sheet item should have a bill wise activated. Every P&L item should have cost center activated. Does every business have cost centers? Of course, one needs to look into. I think if I, as a CA firm, if I have to talk, I can do multiple types of cost centers. Like my cost centers could be geography based. Like I'm present in Bombay, Hyderabad, Bangalore, I can have them as a cost center. How business wants to analyze matters. Or the cost centers could be, I provide multiple audit assurance services. I can create this as a cost centers. You have ledgers, you have to group, you have cost centers. You can use them in however you want for the MIS reporting. So it is saying that it is not activated, so it needs to be checked. It is giving me a report. Cash ledger is of receipt nature, but they have passed it through the payment. That means ideally, again, the good thing and the bad thing of the tally is, like, we all love tally and we want it to be as simple as free it is. So it is something like Excel, right? So someone might be doing a wrong data entry, posting a receipt payment through journal, to anything, it is possible. So here, this is saying that, okay, looks like there is an anomaly. So likewise, there are various reports. It is saying that bill wise and ledger wise is not matching. Like here, my data is saying that 5,72,000 is the ledger balance, but my bills are showing 12,33,000. That means there are on-account transactions which have not been offset. So again, in fact, we have been discussing so much, but the tool has analyzed and given it is in, say, 2 minutes, right? So we have the data which are not matching. If I have received an advance from customers which have not been offset, it is showing me a report. It is saying that these are the customers where there are no transactions during the year. Today, cash receipts and cash payments are tighter nature. So it is giving you list of receipts and payments happened through cash, which is beyond 10,000 rupees. If there is a voucher which is in debtors ledger, but having journal entry other than income. Ideally, when I make a sale using a sales voucher, I debit the customer, credit my incomes, credit my liability. Sometimes people use journal instead of a sales module. Even if I'm using the journal, if I'm debiting a customer, my credit leg should have been income. But if I'm crediting something else other than income, then it is a question that is coming up. Let's quickly see what it is. Even I don't know. Yeah, so here you can see there is some roundup. Roundup would have been grouped as an expenditure. Or there is an offset, some TDS receivable has come, so that has been recorded separately, which is other than the regular receipt entry. So you can see if other than the normal routine, it has captured and it is picking up. So it likewise, it is giving all the thing. It is also saying how many line items are there in this and what is the quantum of amount, because audit is also about materiality. You also want to check whether do you want to ignore that, whether do you want to consider it. And let me quickly pick some of the expenditure related analysis. So it says these many payments, 684 payments have happened without booking the liability. That means directly debited my expenditure and credited the bank. Today, we always encourage as a good practice, use AR and AP module. Book the liability, approve it, and make the payment. So you have a track of it. It says these many things have not been happened. And given that this is in Excel, it's like you can easily put a simple pivot of it. Right? Let me just put a simple pivot of it, and you can get by. Okay, this is my ledger. Let's also group them, and you can easily can say that, yeah. So okay, salaries, they have directly debited this, and you can just go month over month, like how much happened each month or each quarter. We can just put a simple pivot and see. You want to see which is the party to whom that has been paid. You can also get the party name. Like we can quickly say if I say creditors to whom it has been paid, I can get the party name to whom that has been paid. We can also just get, so Excel pivots, we are all masters in it, right? So this is something which definitely we would love to see it, right? So here are expenditure without booking any liability. Now, some of the expenditure which has been paid in cash, you might want to audit, test, look at the vouchers, sample it and see why this much amount has been paid. I'm sure today we are all using different modes of the digital payments. Cash is always susceptible to frauds. So you want to pick these vouchers and verify. Here are some expenditure without GST. This is another interesting analysis and interesting report. Whenever you have a voucher without GST, you should even more audit, because it should either fit into an exempted purchase from a registered dealer or from an unregistered dealer purchase. But what could also lie is it is a reverse charge expenditure where you will have to pay GST by yourself. Yeah. So you need to have a visibility of whom all you have made purchases or expenditures without having GST in it. That is more important. So it is picking all those vouchers and saying that, hey, look, there is no GST in it. Or from the clause, okay, by the way, these are expenses vouchers with GST. I think there is one without GST also. Let me just go back. Yeah, expense vouchers without GST. Yeah, there are 18 vouchers. There are purchases made without GST. Yeah. Now, wherever you have expenditure with GST, we also have this clause 44 requirement, where against expenditure wise, you want to have the breakup in your tax audit. So I can easily give my expenditure wise. These are the various expenditures, and how much is the GST you have deducted, or how much is the total purchase value for that. You can just get this in one go, in straight one go, right? This otherwise would be a very challenging task to segregate total my input tax credit avail versus how much is the purchases that have been made. These reconciliations would be easy to do. So now you can quickly say that out of so much, I have paid a GST of 26 lakhs against this much purchases, right? So a quick information you will get in one glance, or one click of a button, you get all the information. Likewise, there is an expenditure, there is an information on where the vouchers without TDS. That means I have booked expenditure, TDS is not done. Or TDS is done, you want to see the rate of tax. So how much TDS has been done, you can go by expenditure voucher wise, the report, the TDS which has been deducted. So all these kind of reports are available. So what we have addressed or solved is the first problem is automating the scrutiny of the ledgers. So I have scrutinized I have scrutinized all my ledgers and giving some classification, giving some risk. In fact, which is, there's one important thing I forgot to show is non-transactions. This is something which is not relating to much with the transactions. So it says that there are ledgers with balances, but there is no transactions. So there are 82 ledgers. So you can ask that, why are there no transactions? Like, okay, you have FD, maybe interest not recognized, whatever. So you have parent, ledger name, and the amount, and you can analyze that why this has happened. These many vouchers have been posted on a holiday date. Could be an error, could be an erroneously posted, but whatever, these entries have happened on a holiday, including payment. So that means the accountant has posted the transactions after after the effect of a transaction. Could be real, but whatever, but at least you can put a note that why does this happen? This is like generally an exception, right? And it also gives us that the ledgers which have been squared off during the year is like I have opened, I have booked, paid, and everything everything has been squared off. So it says some 41 ledgers have been squared off. In fact, these reports have come basis this tally data. A different tally data, different reports would have come. So one has to go take a look as to, okay, is this square off is correct, or it has been accounting error? Some reason you can check. It also gives, there are many people who use the high-low analysis, a ledger highest amount and the lowest amount. So let's pick some expenditure ledgers. Let's say administrative expenditure. So I can see a ledger where my percentage is highly deviating. Now here is something which is highly deviating, but materiality, so between 908 and 01, I am okay. Now the vehicle insurance, I'm finding one highest as 30,000 and 14,000. So there is a deviation of like 100%. So you can also see whether which are the ledgers which are acceptable, which are not acceptable, is what this is showing. So these are the various different kind of ledger analysis automatically we get when we use this add-on. So let me
I think in the comment,
yeah.
Rajesh is asking that are inventory vouchers being scrutinized in the tool?
Yeah, I'll pick up the thing. So right now, this is only a financial analysis. So the inventory vouchers is not picked, analyzed by the tool. Yeah, and there's one question whether this is a free access or paid version. So there is for one entity there is a free access also. You can always load your company and try it free. That is also available. Paid version is also there. Yeah. So Rajeshji, as I said, inventory vouchers are not being scrutinized at this point. It is only financial vouchers which are being scrutinized. So let me close this and move to the next part, which is of generation of the financial statements. So let's go back. Yeah. So as I said, this has an ability to prepare yearly, quarterly financials. If you have tally data for 2 years, it will automatically prepare the 2 years tally data. In fact, even if you split the tally data, it will automatically recognize the beauty of the tally, the design of the tally, the way I have designed. Even if I split the tally data 10 times, it will remember that this tally data pertains to this original master. So the GUID at which the transactions originate will automatically link it. So you can always detect, even if I split and I present two tally data, I can say that they are the child and inherited from one, so that it is going to show. So let me download the schedule 3 financials. Okay, instead of all companies, let me go to the home. Right now,
there are 2 more questions in the chat. So should we take the questions at the end? Or
I will take the questions. I'll take the questions in between before I move. I'll take the questions.
Okay.
Okay, I am selecting this company where we have, let me say financial reports. and 21-22. So every time when we select it, it will, based on the schema, it will generate the new financial reports. Now let me take the questions. One question, important, beautiful question by Satish. How safe is the data? Yeah, Satish. So again, you see there is a privacy policy. Data is with the AWS thing. Today, I'm sure that we should appreciate the data is all around the cloud, and the most safest way the data is, which is in the cloud. The most riskiest place the data is in our office. I walk into an office, the way we have structured, we are not techno gays. We don't know how to countervene ourselves with the cyber security attacks. It is like someone comes in and asks, can you share your Wi-Fi password? Okay, I'll share my Wi-Fi password. But all that I'm thinking is he's accessing the internet, but he's there in my LAN. And the way we structure it, we have some 10 systems in the office. One of the system, we name it as server. We load all the data into it, each client wise, year wise, or service wise, different method. Everyone in the office have an access to that folder. Maybe technically not a server, but it is there. Or the client, the one article or a paid staff is preparing financials, and one of his friend calls, hey, I don't know how to prepare index. He says, don't worry, here is the file I have prepared, you can use it. No, our data is more vulnerable unless otherwise we use some technology. Data on the cloud are always it's like this is loaded with AWS. AWS has their own encryption standards. I think our data is today, we should appreciate the data security everyone respects. In fact, in UK, there are even more stricter data privacy and security policies. Even in India, we are adopting. Unlike a scenario where people used to steal the data, I think those have gone. Everyone is putting up some security certifications. I think that would answer the question, Satish. Dolly is asking, what if I have branches and tally is maintained separately, but we need to prepare consolidated report? Perfect. So that is where, Dolly, I said, under the entity, you load as many as companies you want. It will prepare one consolidated report. I have one, I'll be showing you that. Srikanth is asking how to generate automated scrutiny. Srikanth, it is, let me. So here is the analysis report. Let me just go home, and the company which I want to analyze, I just select that. I hit this button called analyze. So it will be analyzing and preparing the analysis report. All that I did is I just hit on download the analysis report. That's all I did. All right. Okay, so now let's go to financial statement. So let me download my Schedule 3 financials. So here is the Schedule 3 financials. I'll say working of Schedule 3 because everyone has their presentation, their format of the Schedule 3 financials. Even our tally has kind of a better way of preparing the Schedule 3 financials. I'm sure everyone started using different views that are there. You can change the view. You can create your method of doing it. So I have just prepared one view as balance sheet quarterly. Now automatically it gives me a quarterly. So you can create your views and you can do it. So in a normal way, we have the vertical and the horizontal, but most of us like or understand the horizontal view of presentation, right? So we have seen that. Now let me go and download the Schedule 3 financials. So let me download the Schedule 3 financials for this. So I had hit that financials download button. Let's see, the Excel gets downloaded. Where is this? Yeah, here is the Excel. Yeah, this got open, right? So the financial statements get downloaded automatically. And the good thing of it, it has a balance sheet in an Excel. And Excel, we can change. This is linked. Like you can see, the numbers, everything is linked. Both balance sheet, P&L, it is linked. And it is linked with the P&L to the P&L notes and the P&L notes to your schedule 3, right? So which is your trial balance. So here I have a different values of reports. All these reports are linked to my trial balance. So it has downloaded an Excel file. It has downloaded an Excel file, which is giving me in a normal course, if I have to see it in the tally, my trial balance, either I can get it this detail or I can have my opening balance, debit, credit, and the transactions. But here I'm also getting an additional thing, ledger name, ledger parent, the grandparent, the primary group, the ultimate parent, where it is grouped, what type of ledger, whether it is income, asset, liability, how much is the opening balance, how much is the debit, credit, net balance, closing balance, everything, and where it has been grouped in your schedule 3, all this has come. This grouping is automatically done by the tally itself, by the application itself, right? So how do I know this grouping has done by the application itself? For example, let me look at the let's say repairs and maintenance. So I go to my trial balance and let me say what are my repairs and maintenance. And it has automatically classified these 3 ledgers which are there in repairs and maintenance as repairs and maintenance. Legal and professional, the another thing. So it's not that the exact name in the my tally is like that. In fact, you can see there is nothing called legal and professional, inspection fees, membership, subscription. So some name was there, automatically it did some grouping in a best realistic possible, which you and I, if you have to do, we will do it in the same way. For example, you want this legal and professional is 1,93,000 rupees, and you don't want the membership fee subscription to be added to it. Let's say this 5,000 rupees instead of okay, I'll pick 1,50,000, which is easy to analyze. So the main legal and professional is 1,93,000, and I am changing, let's say for the ease of it, the postal and courier, which is 300 rupees, right? So watch these 2 ledgers. These 2 ledgers, I am saying this postal and couriers, this line item, instead of legal fees, I want to change it to postage and courier, right? Done. You can see automatically that 1,89,000 has become 40 and 300 has become 1,53,000. The advantage, if everything is linked, it is automatically taken care. You don't want it to be as legal and professional. You want it to be as, say, professional charges, right? This is the name that you want it to be. You can change it. We can call this as professional charges. So automatically you can see it is linking and it is coming. The bigger challenge this year, I'm sure most of us faced, that you don't want to present the numbers in rupees. Let's say this is 80,86,846. You want to present this data not in rupees, in thousands. All that you will do is the presentation. Do you want it, the rounding of, do you want it in rupees or thousands? I'll say thousands. Done. My P&L is in thousands. My P&L notes has become 80,86,000.85. Automatically it has become. You want it in lakhs, you want presentation in lakhs, you just set rupees in lakh and it has become 80.87. You can also see that the presentation of the numbers automatically it got aligned. Even in your P&L, now the numbers are, you are seeing it in a very simple way and very neat way. Both balance sheet, everything has become in the simple numbers. Now, the another challenge which people had this year when they were doing it, they had this paise difference. Like you will never find this paise difference when we are using little scientific way of aligning it. You can see this is 0, even with this, or when you are with amount in rupees, amount I present everything in rupees, you have the balance sheet intact, that 0. It means it has an ability to shift. It's like we are not doing anything. Whatever be the presentation method we are saying, it is automatically doing and taking care of it. This definitely would save a lot of time of our professionals in preparing and presenting financials. Maybe for our internal analysis, I want to see it in rupees, but at the time, just before signing, I want to translate the way I want to do it. This tool would actually help us and save it and do it the way we wanted to do it. Let me see if some questions are there. Otherwise, I'll move to the analysis tool. How to compare between GST returns and audited financials? Santosh, when I come to GST, I'll take that up. Yeah. All right. Now, the next thing, in fact, the beauty of this, if I have to say, the best, one of the next best feature of the tool, I will say, is this as an Excel report. Like how our ledger analysis gave us so much of the information, the next best, I will say, this an Excel report. So let me download my Excel report. So I hit download an Excel report. Let's see what does this download do. This is going to give me the annexure of my P&L. What do you mean by annexure? So we have seen my balance sheet, notes to the balance sheet. And we now want to see notes to the P&L. What do you mean by notes to the P&L? The P&L has a notes that we call it as annexure report. We call that as our annexure report. Yeah, so this got downloaded. Right. So what does this annexure report? Look at this. I have my revenue. I have my revenue, my sale of the products coming from different ledgers. I am coming from different ledgers, but I am also able to see by party. From which party I have received my income. From which party I have received my income, it is going to also give me, and it is giving me month-wise. And it is also giving me what is my monthly average. In fact, my average is changing as I go. Like if the moment I reach end of the year, my average has become 65 lakhs. And if you see my the total, if I see my total, you can find the average below here as 65 lakhs. The same is showing up 65 lakhs, which means it is also giving you a trend that is happening month over month that is there. What we can do, it also gives me percentage, which is the customer. You can just sort it with high-low. Once the data is there, again, we can do our own Excel analysis, whatever we want. We can also, let me just set this. Yeah. So we can just insert one simple slicer, or let me go to insert, and I'm just inserting this sparkline. And I want to analyze this. You can see, it is giving you a beautiful trend. Maybe this is not the customer where you want to do analysis for, right? So, but if you see, this customer trend is also aligned with the trend of the thing. He is holding 32%, but the purchases from this was there higher only in the first few months. You can notice here, there are huge purchases or huge sales only in the first few months. After October, you can see there is a decline in the trend. So I can just see for all the customers or all the huge data, how the data is. Yes, a simple graph. especially your professional charges, your various expenditures that you are having. These expenditures to whom you have paying by party, you can make your analysis how much, whether you have all the 12 months entries are there or not. Let's say my salaries. This is one again easy to explain and understand. So in this salaries, I want to see whether my salaries are paid for all the 12 months. Ideally, the graph should be in a kind of straight line, but here you can see there is some movements in the graph in a different way. There is a decline trend. Now, this could indicate that, okay, is there any seasonality? Now, could be some are fixed employees, some are job work employees. So you can see a different trend, whether how it is taken care on what is happening. That is the advantage. You have expenditure by vendor. Like if I say purchases, I have my purchases by vendor. I have all my purchases which have been made in different months. Even here, let us do high-low. Let me just sort the data by each of the vendor on a highest to the lowest, or largest to the smallest. So you can see there's been a lot of cash purchases here. So this client has, so which means there is a lot of susceptibility. So you have to increase your audit materiality. Here are some vendors, vendors where I did which is booking through the GST vouchers, which is 74%. Yeah, rest is other than GST is 26%. You can also make this analysis for yourself and see that, okay, am I getting all the information which I want from the client? Like rent, do I have 12 months entries? Okay, in this case, rent has been booked only end of the year. Could be that from the beginning it was into rent payable, or could have been directly paid to the vendor. End of the year, this is one entry that has been posted. 18,000 is a value that is clearly indicating. That means the 12 months entries could have happened, but happened in one go, whatever. Now, these kind of is like obvious errors. Sometimes you might have an accountant who would start doing the accounting once the year is over, takes the bank statement and does the direct posting. You can weed out and see if something of like that are happening, anything, even here you can see there are entries only in the fag end of the year. So that would indicate that, okay, something is an anomaly. So wherever these ledgers, so here you can see there are vouchers in this ledger, so it is moving. It is not in one simple order. So this way, when you run the data, you will get an analysis of what is the best way that, okay, all the 12 months, ideally your P&L, product, sales and purchases, your margin ratios, whatever 80%, 70% margin ratio will be flat. My purchases may vary with the sales. My overheads are always fixed, or we could say step fixed. With the increase in the capacity, the fixation will change. So this is something which is which analysis that you can do while you are having a tool like this, right? So we have seen generation of my analysis, preparation of financial statements, and my income and expenses automatically. So there was a question on the GST reconciliation. Before I go, let's see if there are any other questions.
So the questions are in the chat also, and
yeah,
in
Q&A
too.
I'll pick both.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Rahul is asking, does this generate a non-corporate entity as per the revised guidelines? Yes, Rahul. So for non-corporate entities, this will generate as per revised guidelines. It is also for small entities, which earlier we are giving a T format of the financial statements. You want to download it into T format, it generates a T format. So you get non-corporate, the T format, or the Schedule 3 format of the financial statements. Then Vasudev, how to view previous year figures in the balance sheet and P&L if we split the tally data? Again, Vasudev, absolutely nothing to worry. Even if we split the tally data, we just add, when we add the company, we select the year which you want to process. So you will select year 1 first, you will select year 2 second. Automatically, this will add the tally data. So that is not an issue. Naveen, in product purchase analysis, can we analyze the products purchased from which vendor and at which rates? Naveen, as I said, right now, it is not doing an audit of the inventory vouchers. It is only doing the financial ledger vouchers. So this report which you have asked for analysis, it is not there. Let me see in the Q&A section. So Mihir is asking, what precautions or disciplines to be observed at the time of data entry, which are prerequisites for generating a perfect and accurate reports? Mihir, I would say that whatever be the method of accounting, we can't enforce. We can always say, always follow the best practices. Even if everyone are posting all the entries through journal and everything on account, still you can run this tool and it is going to give this. These are the anomalies. These many vouchers are on account. These are not routed through AR, AP, all those things. At least it will help the client that, okay, what is the next for everyone has to keep upgrading better our quality of bookkeeping. The higher the quality of the bookkeeping, my audit risk comes down. So I know that the chance of something not getting detected will reduce. So we can always keep saying that these are the options that we have to do it. And Rahul is also asking, is there an option to input notes into the schedule 3 into the balance sheet? Yeah, Rahul, this gives us an Excel output. So in the Excel, we can add, because as you saw in the Excel, everything, it is elastic. Everything is linked. You want to add anything you want to by yourself. You want to change the number, you can change the name. Like we have seen the change in the title, we have seen the change in the classification. We can do those changes. Can we get a report of cash payment? Santosh, yes, there is a report of cash payments. It is already there. Cash receipts and cash payment. Yes, Santosh, we have there is a report which is already there. Do we get the financials as per Ind AS? Vandana madam, what I have shown the schedule 3 is the Ind AS format. I would say this is an Excel working of the Ind AS. Now, every CFM has the multiple ways of presenting it. Yeah. All right. So I'm just hiding the questions that I have answered. This tool can be used by CFO and corporate for internal audit purposes. Nehal, I would say that especially when you are a CFO or the thing, you need to be ensuring before you give it to an external auditor, better let the books be cleaned. So every month as you prepare, anyhow, you have to prepare the financials, cash flow, P&L, all those things. You can also run the analysis, and if something needs to be corrected, it can be corrected and it can be done. Yes, answer your question, yes. Are there TDS reports available? Akash, the only TDS reports that are available are vouchers where you have deducted the TDS, the expenditure amount and the TDS amount. Vouchers where you have not deducted TDS, only P&L related, it currently it gives. As the time goes, we will see if we can, because the classification today is going to be more challenging. Like professional charges, there is an entry for 2%, there's an entry for 10%. Many do not do the quality of bookkeeping. Is like Tally has the module of the compliances, which is TDS and GST. But most of that do not use this legal compliance module in Tally classification. However, this tool says this is the ledger name, expenditure name. This is the ledger in which you have done the TDS, expenditure amount, TDS amount. We can derive the percentage and see whether we have complied it in right manner or not, or look at that other sheet where the list of vouchers where TDS is not done, whether you want to comply it and do additional TDS deduction. So it gives you both the reports which can be analyzed. Yeah, so Rahul, the non-corporate entities as a revised technical guide which has been issued the last year, applicable from this year. Yes, the non-corporate entities presentation, you have a separate report for that. What your question is, right? That is available. All right. So let me see the questions in the chat also. There are people asking both the things. Vipul, please recap initial 10 minutes. There's nothing much happened in initial 10 minutes, but I'll quickly recap everything. Will it extract aging of debtors and creditors? A very good question. Okay. Especially in my schedule 3. Now let me go through the schedule 3 financials. If you see the schedule 3 financials, this is the another requirement that had come this year. Is in my balance sheet, like in my balance sheet, let me just go to my trade receivables. So here is my trade receivables. I have to give my trade receivables age wise, up to 6 months, 6 months to 1 year. I have to give in age wise. But it may so happen that your quality of bookkeeping is not so great that your age wise, it is not giving you a correct value. So it is also extracting the age-wise bill analysis from the tally, including on account, how much it is there. But according to your bill-wise, the outstanding receivable is 14 crores. What is there is 7 crores. But here it is saying that in order to report, you can report it in this way. For our ease of it, let's say less than 6 months instead of 10 crores, I am making it as 5 crores. You can automatically see what to be reported. It is allocating between on a FIFO basis. The system itself is automatically allocating and saying that the 7 crores can be reported in this because the bill-wise information is available in this pattern. Wherever the bill-wise is not there, you can consider on account on a FIFO basis and allocate and go. Is this the right thing? I will say the most accurate thing, because you should insist again the good bookkeeping. Every balance sheet item should have bill wise being enabled. All right. So let me move to the next part. Okay. Someone asked me multi-entity consolidation. Let me show that. So here I am. Let me go now. Here there are a lot of, like you can see under this, I have so many companies. You can think this as you have an entity with present 5 different tally dates in 5 different states, and there's a proprietor group company. I have not selected any company. I have not selected a company, but I have selected a entity. I have selected an entity and I'm saying my financial reports. So now what it is doing, all the entity put together, it is generating a balance sheet and P&L and the ratio analysis of the group as a whole. Again, this year over year, it will generate. So anyone who has an entity level presentation that you are doing, in fact, I've selected 20 to 23. I'm not sure how many entities are participating in it, but it will crawl through all the data and it is going to prepare a consolidated balance sheet and P&L. So as it comes, automated aging is there, ratio analysis is there. Let me just show you one of the very important, which is required for your for our schedule 3 preparation. Let me pick the financials for this entity which we have uploaded. Let's go and get the ratio analysis. So we also need to prepare the ratios. So this is a new requirement in my schedule 3, where we have to give the ratios of the data which is there. In your schedule 3 download, you will get the schedule 3 financials. You can also download the ratios relevant to that period. You can see a thing called ratio analysis. This is also a very important thing, because for the schedule 3, there is a standard information that has been given. But however, there are various ratios a business has to analyze. So here the ratios have been segregated to multifold. The ratios which is on the turnover related, debt service equity equity ratios, or profitability ratio, GP ratio, NP ratio, return on investment, everything. It also says what is the standard ratio, what is the actual ratio, and if there is any analysis you want to make a note, you can make a note. So it has some standard and what is the actual. Is this the right standard? It is basis some analysis it has given. How this ratio is given also, it is cost of goods divided by sales, right? Liquidity ratio. It says the absolute cash ratio should be 0.2, but here I'm not finding it. So my current ratio should be 2, it is 2.16. Your quick ratio should be 1.3, it is 1.8. It means it is good. So it has higher assets than the expected way of doing it. So this has a different analysis of the ratios also. Yeah. So now we have seen the ratios. Yeah. Here we have prepared the financials for the last year. If you see, I have generated the financials for 22-23. Actually, 22-23, there is no data which has been uploaded. All the data was there only for 21-22. For all the group, you can see the financials. It is at a group level. It is at a group level, you see the financials. You can download this, the Schedule 3 financials at the group level also. At the group level also, you can do the download of the financials. Since it is generating the financials for all the things, it is taking time, and you can always see what are my recent downloads. Yeah, this is pending. So once it is ready for download, you can see it will be ready. In the meantime, let's see what else. Yeah, what else is there is the GST. So this, with this, I'll I'll show how the GST workings happens, and I'll conclude. And for this, let me pick a tally data. Yeah, let's continue with this data only. And let me go to the another folder. Yeah. And yeah, GSTR9. Okay. So here is a module where I can prepare GSTR9. How does the GSTR9 works? I can always log into the government portal using the ODP. I'll say login. A right way of getting the data from the government portal is getting the OTP base. You are not taking the access of the username password. It is like username password is impersonation. OTP is you are saying that, okay, hey, look, someone is asking for the data. Can you get it? The OTP goes to the registered person. So it comes by way of an email, and let me refresh the email. A OTP would be coming from the government. Yeah, you can see this is a OTP that has come from the government portal, and I will say, okay, I want to prepare GSTR 9 and 9C. So I'm logging in using the OTP, and I select for preparing financials. You need GSTR1, GSTR3B, GSTR2A. You need books of accounts. We have synced the data of the books of accounts. I'll say download the data from the government portal for all the periods. You can see automatically the backend has an ability to connect to the government portal, fetch the information. So now I have books of accounts. I have GST data which has been filed. Using merging both, I will be now able to prepare all the information. If I have to manually download this each month, it will say the moment I select, wait for 15 minutes. I have to do some 12 GSTR1s, 12 3Bs, 12 2A, 12 2B, consolidate. It's going to be a humongous task. but you can see automatically this is doing in the backend. Once it is done, I can upload my purchase register manually, or I can sync it, and I'll say prepare GSTR9. What does this do? It is now consolidated all the information, and it is asking me, it is going to ask that I have to match the data which is there in your books and this. I will say, okay, match, run GSTR9 matcher. So it says you should have filed all R1 and 3B, and it will now analyze the data of R1 and 3B and going to do it. It is also saying, hey, 31st December is the due date. You haven't filed it. It is late. Okay. It does the matching. The beauty of it, now I'm able to download the 21-22 R9. Let's download and see what it is going to give. Yeah. So it has beautifully segregated, downloaded the information, and it has presented in various categories. It has presented in various categories. And let me explain you the various categories this has prepared. Yeah. So the first category is GST returns data. Whatever which has downloaded, like GSTR1 consolidated, all the data which is there in GSTR1, it is giving me month-wise. It is giving me month-wise taxable value, tax amount. There's a first report it has given. Likewise, R1, it has also downloaded GSTR3B. Now, more importantly, I might have filed something late. For example, in the month of July, my turnover is 89 lakhs, but I filed 44 in July, 39 in August, 4 in September. Could be data entry errors corrected later. So to compute enabling paying interest, it is segregating and showing it to you. 2A versus 3B. How much of the credit you have claimed in 3B? How much is there in your GSTR 2A? If there is any difference, you have to explain. So it is giving you all various sides of information. Most importantly, this year, I'm sure every one of us have struggled in preparing table 17 of R9, which is HSN-wise details. So it is also giving me HSN-wise, what is the quantity, taxable amount, all the rate-wise, unit of measure-wise. So it's simply how I can upload it into table 17. Then some reconciliations. Like we have this challenge.
So
yeah.
You're saying that the screen is frozen. So you're in the Excel.
I'm sorry. My bad. I don't know. Okay. Now it's visible.
Yes, the
Let
Excel,
me
right?
Yeah. So this is GSTR1 consolidated. You can see month-wise data, which is there in the portal, each month-wise. Likewise, your GSTR3B, you have month-over-month the data. The invoice-wise, which I said, the July month turnover was 89 lakhs. But in the month of July, I reported 44, August 39. So to compute interest, it is enabling and showing me the information. My 2A versus 3B. This is the value which I have reported in 3B month over month. What I'm eligible to claim was this. The difference it is giving IGST, CGST, SGST, it is showing the difference. So easy to navigate and understand. Most importantly, I said the HSN wise. So it is giving me a unit of measure, the quantity, taxable value, taxable amount, all the unit of measure wise data it is giving. We had a huge challenge in filling GSTR 9 table 8. So it also gives me where the information is coming between table 8. So it says so much of the information, it is there in 2A, but not in 8A. Various reasons. It is there in 8A, but it is ineligible. Could be place of issue or someone filing late, but it is giving a reconciliation between 8A and 2A. The more importantly is GSTR 9 working. It automatically prepares what should be the likely value of GSTR 9. Let's see how it is prepared. Turnover computation. Since the tally data it has read, it is saying in the tally, in GSTR1 you have shown so much turnover. In GSTR3B you have shown so much turnover. this is the value which is there in the tally. It's like in tally, I would have income in sales or direct income, other income. From where did it come? It is like it has taken directly from your trial balance. So we had the trial balance, so it has taken all the information. That means before I prepare, it has taken into all the information, segregated into various GSTN wise, the adjustment which I want to do, the information for that adjustment, segregated into rate wise. So all the information that is required for filing GSTR9, it is also assisting and fetching the information and presenting it, right? Each tally data, each information would be different, but even if you have already prepared your Schedule 3 financials last year, GSTR9, it is always good since that everything is done, you can run through this. This is like after your exam, we go through the revision test paper. This is something like that. If did I miss something, do I have to take care of the next year? In fact, this also shows me at the end how much taxes I have to, how much taxes I have paid and how much I have to pay. It is saying in this case, 22,000 IGST is short paid and 30,000 CGST is GST is excess paid. So it just does the computation, basic computation. Just on a click of a button, it analyzed the various information and it said, report this into table 10 and 11, report this into various tables of 9 and 9C. It is just preparing and giving the information. See, with so much information readily available, we can actually increase our audit quality. We can enhance the way we do the audits. Yeah. So these are the various things which I wanted to cover. Let me see if there are any questions that are not answered. Satish, GST annual reports for multiple GSTNs of a single entity. Yes, the tally data, I'm presuming, okay. Tally works, one tally data, one GSTN. So even this tool is also designed, one tally data, one GSTN, each tally data, GSTR9, each data is separate. Yeah, so why?
One of the question in the chat got missed. Can we change
Yes.
groupings like professional fees and postage, etc. in tool, or it needs to be done in Excel only?
Okay. So you can create in your own schema. If you ever want to do one time, you can do it in Excel. You want this as a this is your classification. You have a feature in the tool itself. You classify every time when this is generating, you generate in this way. Even that classification, you can do it yourself.
I think now from Mr. Rajesh Chakote. The drill down is available for differences in ATN books.
Drill down for differences is not there because it's a ledger wise difference. So we don't know which where the difference is. So those ledgers are there. Age wise data is possible even if entry not passed in bill wise. The answer is no. Age wise data, it is like you have to do on a FIFO basis. So this is answered. Can it analyze other data? No, it analyzes only tally. So that's why it has been named as tally. Why all these features not available in Tally Prime audit version? Mayank, Tally is also working on it. I'm sure in the next version of the upcoming Tally Prime, these features will come up. Like it's just a matter of time. The data would come, I would believe. All right. So yes. I think we have answered all the questions.
Yeah, I think so. In the audience, if you have any further question, you can raise your hand. I think so. In the chat, we left 1, 2 questions more. Okay, I think so. Most of the people are wanting to know how to get access to it, and will there be training?
So this is, as I said, this is the cloud thing, and as I said, you have one free. You can load your tally data. Like one is free of cost. So this is the URL. You can just By the way, as Komal said in the beginning, this is an additional add-on. This is not the Tally. This is a tool works only on the sorry. It works only on the Tally data. So this is the add-on. You can one company works free of cost. You can. I would suggest whichever is the you think the best Tally or the worst Tally. There's nothing called thing. People make mistakes. The ability to make their mistake. If someone has a greater ability, they'll do greater mistakes. Smaller abilities, load any Tally data and you use it. Does it work only on the Prime? No, it works on the ERP9. Tally 6.6.3 version, so 7.28 and ERP9. All those versions where the Tally brought in this feature called ODBC and the connecting the external data, it works on all those versions of the Tally. This recording is available. I think Komal has shared the link, and in fact, there are many sessions for the chartered accountant. So a lot of evangelists like me have taken sessions on how better we can use the Tally Prime. It is there on the community Tally Solutions session webinars. Various features that we have taken time to time, they're available. I would request everyone to watch those. If you are using Tally, you should definitely watch those webinars where you will upgrade yourself. The features that are there in Tally that we miss using it, we will be using them. Yes, Komal.
Yeah. A note to the audience. I think if you have any further query, so I think it will be best if you can put in your email also along with the website.
Yeah, sure. So I am also putting my email. You can always reach to me if you have any queries, especially on using the tool or in terms of features that are there in Tally Prime. Many of you also, like in ERP9, you are using it and you missed it. You don't know how to use it in Tally Prime. You can also reach to us, reach to me. I will be able to guide to extent I know. You can always feel free to reach to me.
I think one last question on the Q&A. I think, can a company use this tool for preparation of reports?
Answer is again yes.
And the voucher approval module is also available.
Yeah, so you can, this is another thing where you don't want people to post entries into Tally unless you approve them. The another challenge is the person who is approving those vouchers might not be aware of the Tally. So this again, this is the power of ODBC. So voucher is posted in Tally, someone approves on the cloud, then it will be visible. Till that point, it is like masked. How do I use mask? It is parked in optional vouchers. It gets regularized, only someone approves it. So a user do not have any rights after he posts an entry to edit it, delete it, or do anything. Someone has to approve it. That is also a very good module. I would say that wherever you want to bring in more maker checker controls, you can use that. Meher, this is an add-on. This is not the inbuilt. So if you want to use it, there's a free version, one entity works. Rest is a paid version.
Okay, so I think for the question, I have one question from Pamela. I think from ERP to Prime. So see, if you have to have a valid TSS, so once you have a valid TSS, it can be converted to latest version of Tally Prime. And for practicing chartered accountants, we have a special offer. I think ICI has also updated in their website. So I've also put in a link for the community website. In our CA community portal, you get everything, the subjects of articles related to their any special offer or upcoming webinars. All the information you'll find in there. Requesting you to please go to the thing or approach to write to support@tallysolutions.com. We will see to your requirements.
Yeah, one last question I'll take. There's a question by Suresh. Will Tally data reside on Tally on Wheels? Answer is no. It only has, like you can see, while it was syncing. So basically, it is querying various things. In fact, let me also show people like how this works. So you can, if you have Tally, you can also do. You can just press on the your Tally. You can press Control N, and you want to know. You can put this query, select name from ledger. I've just given one small query, right? So you can automatically get the ledger name and the parent, right? And these are the, and I want to know the primary group. So you can get all the, okay, I think I've run on a huge thing. You can get all the things. Basically, you're writing a query, you are seeing the results, and those results are now captured. So even this tool is not reading your all the tally data, it is querying and doing the data. And so what resides on the portal is only the Excel that you have downloaded and you have seen. Those are the things that are visible on the portal. I think this would answer your question. I think Satish, Suresh. Yeah.
So I think one last question in the Q&A. I think I'm not sure what the question is in the chat.
HDFC Bank tied up with you or not? I think Manoj, I don't know. Maybe it is. Answer is no. I don't. Yeah, that's it.
I think some feature for MIS report or something.
Yeah, so there is a feature for MIS report. You can again, for the management who doesn't want to see the complete information, you can go to MIS report. You'll only see the graphs and the trend analysis. Even that feature is also there.
Okay, I think we have no further query.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Venu sir. With the questions and the quantity, we can definitely, make a conclusion that a lot of people have got their interest spiked in this. So I'm sure you'll be getting in queries. So I'm sure the audience, if everyone has seen Venu sir's email ID and also the URL for Tally on Wheels. Thank you, Venu sir. I'll
Thank
just
you.
continue the session.
Yeah, bye.